Cash flow on the beat.
Yeah. I know what this mean, right?
That's right. We back.
I like this beat. I'm trying to tell you. So I'm gonna hit up one of my people. Somebody gonna pay us 16 on this. Because my twos ain't good. So 16, somebody.
Yeah, somebody got to spit it. Hot fire.
Hot fire. Some blue flame or the blue magic, whatever.
Don't want me to put it in there. It'd be lukewarm.
What it is. We're back again for another week of cocktails and conversations.
That's right.
I like this. We sitting up here going through a rebranding thing, and I like it. You have to be open for counsel and wisdom.
That's right.
Yeah. My father tells me that quite often, and I don't be listening. And I'm getting older or mature. It's not even getting older. I'm getting mature. And I'm like, you know what? You do have to listen to stuff.
Yeah.
Because if you don't listen, you suffer the consequences for not listening.
That's true.
So we out here. I'm thankful for everybody who's giving us feedback on a regular basis, saying you need to change this, you need to change that. You don't even down to the spirit fingers. You ain't got the rings on this week.
Nah, I had to leave them alone. Everybody, what is that noise? Do they have ghosts in the building? What is that?
So we're gonna get back to those. I took my watch off, and this is just a normal week.
I just got my Wakanda beads on.
Oh yes. The communication specialist right there going on. So I want to first, this is one of them. We keep it very real on this show, and before we have our show, we do prayer.
Yeah,
and today just hit me beautifully because, coming off Ramadan not too long ago, and you're striving to clear your mind, and as you're clearing your mind, you see. So as a Muslim, we're taught we really don't compare. Mm. We are taught to set a clean glass next to a dirty glass and let the other people do it.
Dang.
So if I set the clean glass of life, spiritual development, and everything next to it, then besides that, I set beside that whatever foolishness that is going on.
Yeah.
So right now, we just prayed, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Because I just told my sister the same thing earlier, that in praying before whatever she does, it'll change the aspects of your life.
Yeah.
So they do it at a restaurant, and I said, are you all praying before y'all come out here every morning? You can't ask for development and growth if you're not willing to pray for the development and growth.
And you know what? Hand me the Lowry's.
Go ahead.
Let me put some seasoning and salt on that. So a lot of people don't know how to pray. And when we talk about praying and prayer, excuse my ebonics. But when we talk about prayer, the thing is, it's not just asking. What we're doing, we're setting the atmosphere so that God can come in. The other thing is we're expecting and we're calling forth the thing that should be, because we're entering the state and the mind of God, so that what we say is what he says. Mm. And you have to live in the thing. Pass the collection plate.
Okay, pass these collection plates. I got you.
You have to live in it. You have to be that thing. So we're not begging God. We're not groveling. What we're doing is we're bringing on the atmosphere so God can set things forth. We're calling those things, and we're speaking to our divine Father, our divine Creator, the Father that gave us breath and existence. And we're calling what he said to be in that moment. And a lot of people, they don't take charge of what they want because they don't know who they are, because they don't know whose they are. Mm. And so when you don't have that, everything suffers. And it starts with the man. It starts with us. We're the lead. And yes, at times it takes for a woman to lead, but that's your responsibility, young man, old man.
Oh.
And the thing is, once you set the atmosphere, everything else can take precedence. And that's what I want to talk about, because our communities are in disarray.
So can I step back with you.
Man, hold on. Let me give you this seasoning salt. Here go the Lowry.
Here we go. Okay, here we go. Let me get this shaking so everybody can hear this every now and then. So I'm going to step back. My favorite man, Minister Farrakhan, he was talking, I think it's how to give birth to a God. But I heard this before. So I want to shout out to my brother, Patrick, and his wife, Sister Ishtar. Her father told me this when I was younger. And I never really paid attention because I was like 14 years old. And he's talking about sex to me. And I'm like, what in the world's going on? But the brother said, the keys of life people give when you're young. Got to listen to them because they plant seeds and they mature.
Yeah.
He said, brother, before me and my wife made any one of my babies, he said, we said prayer every time.
There we go.
I said, what the hell? In my mind, what the hell? You did prayer before you had sex? Yeah. He said, and he saw the expression on my face. He said, yes. He said, because you are looking for a gift through your seed, brother. Mm-hmm. And if you're going into the act, however the act may be done, the end result is what you're looking for is the planting of the seed and the divine gift of life being brought forth. Ooh. So if you want this to be a blessed seed, you got to ask the blesser to bless it.
Man, you better cook that doggone meal, bro.
I'm listening to this at 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
It was just like, what in the world?
It's mind opening.
It's mind opening, but at the same time, it's just like, I ain't never heard nobody say this before because I hadn't heard how to give birth to a God. Because at 14, I'm not paying attention to sex like this.
Yeah.
So I get older, started to have my child, and then I hear the minister says this, and he goes into more detail about this. And I said, man, now I'm getting mature. I'm 40 years old. And I'm like, I'm looking at society.
Yeah.
And as we look at society, we see a difference between brother A and brother B.
Yeah.
Brother A, they came from a good, stable home. Mm-hmm. Brother B came from whatever the diasporas produced. Mm-hmm. And the prayer that was, going back to other conversation about they were moving the separation of church and state, the prayer that was in the home.
Yeah.
And the prayer that is not in the home.
Yeah.
And
the prayer was consistent too, bro.
Come on, man.
It wasn't just a one-time thing.
It wasn't a one-time. And the prayer, I mean, it's even prayer down to the fact, like I got a friend, I went over their house and everybody sat down to eat. And I'm like, all right, we're going to do prayer. And then they mean just eat. I looked at him, I said, you just going to eat, bro? Like, you don't thank the God for this food. I'm, again, 40 years old.
Man,
but I'm still like, bro, bow our heads before we're... I know the Lord's Prayer. I know the Christian's prayer. I almost know some of the Jewish prayers. I'm a Muslim. I know our prayers because it's a respect for the God. Oh, man, I'm out of season, man. I'm trying to tell you.
Man, let me tell you something. I'm about to hand you the skillet now.
Okay, I got another one more season. I'm going to moonwalk off this for a second until you can get back to go what you're doing.
Yeah.
I remember this other lecture the minister says, it's the Prophet Muhammad. And he says he was, it's one of the stories though, and the prophet was out with some other ministers, I guess, and they were sitting around.
Yeah.
And a Jewish man's funeral passed by. And the prophet stood up and he looked at him. He said, why are you, I'm again paraphrasing this, but why are you setting up for this man? He said, because someday we will all pass that way.
That's right.
So the respect is given.
That's right.
And I'm again looking at us. We take things for granted.
Yeah.
We do it how we want to.
Yeah.
I respect what I want to.
Yeah.
And then other thing else I don't care about. But then what has it produced in society for us all?
It produced exactly what we got. And I want to talk about this scientifically. Because if you're a student of God, you're a student of science. And everything attests to it. Now, everybody's heard about the studies, and if you haven't, go look up the studies where when they literally take a glass of water and they speak either positively or negatively. When they take a glass of water and they speak positively to the glass of water, when they freeze it, it forms perfect geometric crystal patterns. When they speak negatively over the glass of water, what happens is that it makes all of these like just inferior, just jacked up, looking retarded looking particles. And that's just because they spoke to it. So when we pray and we speak things positively, the thing is, we're much more complicated than just water. You do the same thing with plants. When they speak negatively with plants,
oh, come on.
they
Come on, my baby
actually
right
start to wilt. They actually start to die. When you speak life into the plant, when you talk sweetly to them, they actually grow a lot better, and they multiply. And the thing is, when we speak over our atmosphere, when things are like when you pray over your food, we know you've done the cooking, but it's getting ready to enter your body. So if you can pray to something and the molecular structure change when you can speak to something, we have to do the same thing over our food. And the same thing applies to our lifestyle. The same thing. And here's the other thing about prayer.
Changes things.
We talked about it being an ongoing thing.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a community, the thing is, when you pray for something, you live in it as though it already happened. Mm-hmm. It is now that we like, here it is. We serve the I am. Not the I was, not the I might be, not the please. Can we please happen?
Come on, brother. Come on.
The thing is, you have to live in that thing. And that's what makes it what it is when we pray, when we speak, when we talk to our atmosphere. And when you're birthing something, when you're praying over your spouse and you're getting ready to build a legacy. Oh, there we go. Let me put a little bit more seasoning on that. Let me balance these. See, and the reason why we talk about seasonings, y'all hear me, because seasonings have to be balanced. You are what you eat. So when you eat, so there's a famous quote, right? Let thy food be thy medicine. And that's literally what it is. The seasonings that you put is in due season. If you put something out of season, right? It
does more harm than good.
Man, what are you talking about?
Come on, brother.
When we're making a cake or we're making a meal and you take a step before it needs to be taken, it's out of order and you ruin it.
You're baking the cake before you put the flour and everything.
Man, what you talking about?
You just put the bowl in there.
And the thing is, the world has a season. It's a time for everything. When you're creating something, right? You're speaking life into your spouse, not just before, during, and after the act, because we sure call on the Lord sometime when you do.
Right.
Now, let me tell you something.
Oh, man. I just got that.
But we're cultivating the atmosphere. And what I love about that lecture, How to Make a God, is that, first of all, you have to consecrate your body.
Oh.
You have to consecrate. You have to align your molecules within yourself, and that's living in the thing that you're praying. You have to cultivate the relationship between you and your spouse. You're developing something, so that sperm and that egg have to be the best at it, and the mindset that you have has to be the best at. If you're trying to create a God, you have to live as one. A fool cannot create a God. Only a God can. And then in the word, it says, "Are ye not gods?"
Come on, brother.
Now, if he's the father, that means that you're the child. And he develops what he is. So when God developed you, you were a reflection of who he is. You're a reflection of what he is. And the thing is, you have to call that thing into prayer. And that's the thing that we have to have in our communities. And the thing is, our communities are not just neighborhoods. It's a collection of mindsets. Because this body has to live, but it's the mind that dictates what it is. But what dictates the mind? The spirit in which it operates. Brother,
this man done dropped so many keys of life over here. I'm gonna sit here and be quiet because I want to run down.
I wanted to talk about something because, a lot of people want to talk about relationships and they forget about the first relationship. The first relationship that you ever had didn't even exist on this plane.
It didn't.
You belonged to God first. You were with him. He said, when you're absent, you go back to the Father, which presented you. And so he said, before you was in your womb, your mother's womb, I knew you.
I was there. Every book says differently, but yes, I knew you. I was there.
I was
with
there.
You. Yes.
Now, what we have to understand is when that divine spark comes in, we come from spirit into physical. First of all, there's a love that happens. There's a love of spirit. You experience God. And it's divine love because out of all the human beings that could have existed, which is an infinite number, you existed. You decided to come here, become human, and you get to experience something that would envy anyone. An earthworm would love to be a human. A butterfly would love to be a human.
We are the mastery of God's creation.
Man, you better speak on it.
And the mastery of, I love listening to people talk, but you have to have a foundation of truth and understanding. So when people talk, you can decipher through the BS. Thank you very much for the word challenge I had right there for the moment. You can decipher through the BS to get to the reality of what they do know and what they don't know. So we're taught that man is the only creature that has choice.
Exactly.
No other person, no other creation of God has the ability to have a choice. A spider can't be an ant. A bee can't be a spider.
Yep.
They have to be what God created them to be.
And they're operating exactly how you told them.
And that's why they're successful.
That's right.
We as humans too often want to be other than what it is. We're transgender. We are, I identify as this. I want to be this. I don't think I'm going to be that. I want to grow up. I want to be a kid. Whatever it is that you try to you want to be this. But the question goes to, did God create you in that? And when you say that God didn't know what he was doing when he created you, I heard someone say that.
The infinite being that created existence had no clue what it was doing.
The one who has put everything in existence from the beginning, the annals of time. Right. When he came to you, was like, you know what? F it. Just run a dice, whatever happens.
I don't know what
I know what you're going to do with this. And keep moving. So, what's my boy? The brother out in Texas said something. I love him when he said this. He said, every day you wake up with 2 C's. A choice and a chance. And every day you get a chance or opportunity to do something. And you have to make the choices from these opportunities, what you're going to do with them. And too often, and I say we, and I always speak we because I want to put myself in situations. Them 3 fingers pointing back at you is the ones you're always trying to avoid. And I'm learning to accept my 3 fingers. Because them 3 fingers is what's going to help me get from position A to position B in my life.
That's it.
And as I'm looking at it, I say that I keep always trying to avoid the choice of being. But like you said the other week, my mother's always told me, if you make the decision or you don't make a decision, you still make the decision.
Yeah.
And most of us say, well, I didn't do that. Well, you still didn't do it. So you made the choice.
You made a choice. You made a choice.
They were going to rob the store. You said, well, I ain't going in there. I'm just riding in the car.
You still sat in the car.
You still sat in the car. You could have got out the car. You made the choice to still go along with this.
It's like a deer in headlights. Either you're going to move out the way or you're going to stay there. But both of them is a choice.
You got a chance to
Whether
move.
you do something or not, it's a choice.
So as we keep looking back on ourselves, and this is always about self-reflection. You talked about relationships and we want to get into them. And the first relationship that you always have to have is the relationship with God. And circle back, and I'm gonna keep running back on this one because I said the brother was talking about a myriad of topics right here, and I was just listening. I love listening to this brother. So I love the title of the show, and every now and then I keep putting it back on there because people say, "What? This cocktails and conversations?" And we talk about the advice being given, and Yusuf and Tim, y'all got martinis on there, and the martinis are too womanly. You need to rebrand yourself, brother. I said, you know what? As a female telling me this, I respect it.
You know?
I'm going to have
Love
to
that advice.
We're going to have to change this because this is not right. So the cocktails and conversations, again, represented the myriad of people that are going to be on the show, the diverse backgrounds, the diverse thoughts, the diverse topics that we will talk about. The cocktail itself is you're drinking in through hearing.
Yeah.
And we're praying that it's nourishing your soul in some way. That you walk away, it's like, I was refreshed from that. I like that conversation. I don't want you to have to, oh man, that was thought-provoking. What did he say? I don't know, but it was very deep. I don't want that BS. I want you, when you leave away from me, it's like, I enjoyed the conversation. Like, I left with a little something, but you know what? I'm going to go back in here next week because next week it'll be something different. We're not going to get into the debauchery of adult life because
we know it too well.
Yes, we all know it too well.
There,
and you can turn to any other podcast almost really, and they're gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
I don't need to talk about that. We don't need to talk
too
about
much
that.
Lowry's on this,
right? That's almost what's that? High blood pressure on them shows. So we don't want to get into high blood pressure. We want to stay down where it's cool, calm, and collective. Where you can take your glass of juice if you're Yusuf Muhammad. You can grab your glass of wine if you're anybody else, or you can grab your power drink if you're Tim. You get back into working out. So everybody got their different drink that we're going to take in. We're going to enjoy the conversation. So that's one part. We talked about the relationship with God. That's what hit me. So I'm going to go into Yusuf world for a while.
There we go.
So if you remember, I've knocked on death's door 3 times at this point. Mm-hmm. Once at 5, my father gets into an accident. And again, that my father, we talk about that relationship with God. My father talked about the accident one day when I was getting older.
Yeah.
And he said, son, I remember the accident like it was like yesterday. He said we were driving we were in Pennsylvania, headed back to New York. And he's driving and he says, everything slowed down. Like the stuff in the movie where it slows down.
Yeah.
He said, I could see everything moving 2 miles an hour. And he says, in front of me, I saw the patch of black ice on the bridge. It was crystal clear. He says, to the left of the patch of ice was an 18-wheeler coming my way.
Oh, man.
To the right is the bridge going over. Yeah. He said, my mind gave me the choice. You can go under this 18-wheeler, you got a chance. You go to the right, you're going over the bridge, you ain't going to make it. Make a choice. And he said, and then everything started moving again fast. Yeah. So he had to make a choice. I said, man, that's his first time really put me in perspective. Talk with God. Get the relationship with him. Yeah. Because he'll guide you. But again, like we said, God is always with you. Yeah. But are you with him?
Man, talk about it.
My first death experience was that one because he says that they almost pronounced me dead at that moment. But he said that he started screaming my name and somehow I woke up like, hey. So that's my first one. My second one is at 14. Bus driver falls asleep on 95 in Virginia and we go over a ravine. Again, I didn't even know, 2 ravines. Wow. Rivers. The rivers, the water's calling.
Man, let me tell you something.
So we go over that and that was a hell of an experience. And then COVID is a mother. And the other last year again, you calling me, and I'm all,
yeah, I called you in the hospital. He was cool. Oh man, I'm just chilling. This man here coding out. So, what is that going on, man? You know, listen to these binaural beats.
So my relationship with God is growing more and more in the fact that that one right there, that was the signifying one, the COVID one, where I'm sitting in there. And I'm crying, talking to God about reflections that I've done and haven't done.
Oh, yeah.
And saying, this is not the way I want to go out.
Yeah.
But the relationship with God was through phases sitting there. And if anybody's ever had their bouts and experiences with, even death, it's just self-development and growth, is that the first thing is the woe is me. I ain't done it. It. And you're crying. Then the second one is, God, do this. And you, oh my God, I'll do this. God, just let me do this.
The bargaining chips.
Right, the bargaining chips.
Like you got something to give.
Right. Like if you let me live, I go ahead and, I shine your shoes, God. Then the third stage becomes the truth.
Yeah.
The truth of you sitting down and acknowledging you're wrong, acknowledging where you are, and saying that, God, I got it. But the fourth stage is the one most of us don't get to. And the fourth stage is the one is the killer.
Speak on it.
That's the submission one.
Yeah. Man, see, that's you hit that nail on the head.
When you just say, God, you know what?
You got it.
I accept it.
Mm-hmm.
This is not me.
Mm-hmm.
This is you. And let your will be done. Like we said in the other show, we keep asking for what we want.
What we want.
And at some point, we got to sit there and be like, God, you know
It doesn't matter what you want.
Rock said. So at some point, you got to sit there and be like, you know what, God? What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And that's when you're giving up and submitting. And as Muslims, we do our prayer. We put our hands to our ears and we call Allah Akbar, Allah Akbar. That's supposed to be the process of submitting. Mm-hmm. And I didn't get that, so I'm sitting in that hospital about to code out. And man, I didn't cry for like 2 days straight.
Yeah.
I remember Rasul called me. He was like, bro, don't tell him, you better not, brother. Don't, I don't need to go. We had just went to another janaza service right before. I don't need to be going to another one, but Yusuf. Get your ass out the hospital. Exactly. We got work to do.
You got to live.
Right.
Don't go to the light. Don't go to the dog hot part. Don't go to the light.
Don't go nowhere near neither one of them, brother. So that relationship with God is one that most of us placate.
Yeah.
We really don't have.
Yeah.
And I understood that through my own self. Again, I use that word we, and I'm not just frequently using it because, whatever, he just wanted to. No, we, because I know I didn't have it.
Yeah.
I pray, I call on him all the time, but it's like it's like we talk about these relationships again, and I'm running, but thank you very much for allowing me to run for a while. So it's like the relationship between a husband and wife. Mm-hmm. Or boyfriend and girlfriend. And we talk about before how relationships go wrong.
Yeah.
But relationships go wrong because oftentimes they were never on to start with.
Yeah.
If you look at these marriages, you look at even yours that's listening right now, how well do you know your spouse?
Yeah.
Man, it's the Farrakhan. Boy, I'm trying to tell you, I'm on this Farrakhan tip right now.
Go ahead.
What's the other one? Marriage something. He sits down.
I want y'all to look it up. Marriage something.
that's that lecture, marriage something. So he sits down and he has a bunch of couples from around the Nation of Islam sitting in the room. And the first thing he says, and there's only married couples supposed to be in there. Yeah. This was the funny part. He said, "Thank y'all for coming. I want to first ask the question, how many of y'all are married?" Everyone raised their hands. And he just says, And everyone's laughing. They're like, oh, you asked the question. Why? Who's married in here? And he's not laughing. And I always learn, when a person asks you a question, they ain't laughing. It's supposed to be a funny question. Shut the hell up. It's a serious question. He said, none of y'all should have raised your hand. He said, because married is the past participle.
Man, you better.
Of marriage. Mm-hmm. Married means you've already ended the process and you made it. He said you're in the process of marriage. Yeah. So if you're still together, you're supposed to be in a marriage, not married, because it's not ended. Yep. And that's where we're going wrong to begin with.
Man, let me tell you something.
Hell?
You speaking on it. Shake that doggone seasoning on it. Because, it's funny because we're in the age of microwave stuff.
Instagram.
People want a wedding, but they don't want a marriage. They think that the wedding is the end all be all because we've been brainwashed by Disney movies and rom-coms and all kinds of stuff.
I like rom-coms.
And you know what I love about about the way a woman's mind process? When they develop shows for women, they don't really have an ending to them. It's like it's open-ended. Now, and that's the way life is. Our life comes and goes, but life goes on. The planet keeps spinning. Our marriages, they go on until you're done. And that's the way we're supposed to be. Because in the word, he said that God is married to the backslider.
Come on.
Divorce is not an option.
Ooh.
When God accepted us for who we are, there is no divorce. There is no disownment. It's, are you going to take up your end? Because he's always there. And the same thing, the tip is, for those who are unhappy in a marriage, first of all, a lot of us have bonded with someone who's not bonded with us. So the thing is, we have to start off right. You can't, if I'm building a house and I'm in the foundation of it and I'm making cheap materials and I'm lying, talking about, and I'm using the wrong thing and I'm saving money and I'm skipping processes. By the time we finish building that house, it's going to be a leak in this old building. And guess what? My spouse has got to move. And that's what happens because we didn't start out right. And a lot of times what happens is then when a builder is building something, if you don't have the right team, the right partners, you're going to get tired.
So you have Bob the Builder in your house instead of this old house?
Let me tell you something. If you give up through the process, now you got shaky wood, shaky floors, it ain't paid. You understand what I'm saying? So it's an ongoing thing. The completion of the thing is when you're dead. Right. You understand what I'm saying? When one of you, and that's how we have to be. In our bodies, right? This is why diets don't work.
Talk about it.
A diet is a way of life. You're always on a diet. It's your eating style. So if you got people, oh, well, that diet didn't work. Well, did you stop? Yeah. Well, you're not on that diet.
Can I?
You understand what I'm saying? It's an ongoing process. And when we're talking about relationships, a lot of us say, oh, well, the relationship is hard. The relationship is this, the relationship is that. It's an ongoing process. When you were getting your degree, you didn't stop. You kept going. You went through with the plan. The thing is, you didn't come up with the plan for the degree. You went to the person who developed the school. And they told you what the plan was. A lot of us get into marriages and we say, okay, well, we're going to make our own rule. A lot of us get into, let's talk about relationships in general. You got a friend. You got a business partner. And then all of a sudden, you change the rules up. All of a sudden, you changing things up. Now, if we develop as a person, that's different. We're developing. We're elevating. But if you decide to go into a whole different direction, that's not a partnership anymore.
So a little seasoning. I'm going to let you keep running with that one.
No, go ahead. I'm going to give you the chef hat.
Oh, okay, go ahead. So, I'm going to take a ratatouille version of it, though. Have somebody else placating from the top of the hat. The word that we're missing is discipline still.
Oh, that is.
You talk about the diet. You started, but you stopped. Why? Because your discipline wasn't there. And I'm talking as man, doing Ramadan, everything that we just got through doing not so long ago, is that after the Ramadan, how often are you going to keep up with the Ramadan?
Exactly.
So you've lost, God knows how many pounds many of us has lost during Ramadan. I know one year I lost 15.
Yeah.
Because I was doing it and I was in the sun, I was working it.
Yeah.
This year I probably lost about 8, 10, whatever. But it's after the Ramadan I was telling my brothers and sisters, all right, look, we're off it. We're past it now. We're a few weeks past. What are you doing now with your body? Did you go back into what you were doing before? Like your body has literally cleansed. Ramadan is the most beautiful cleansingness on a natural spirit because it allows you to not, because when you get sick and they give you these forced pills and you got to do it right now.
Yeah.
Ramadan just naturally allows you to say, look, don't eat during these time periods. Exactly. And when you're not doing it, your body's going to start what? It's going to start disposing of everything that's not supposed to be in it for a while. So you're going to poop for a few days. You're going to be dehydrated another few days. And then after that, okay, I'm feeling better. And
for those of you, I'm going to just be a sous chef real quick and be the assistant. For those of you who don't understand Ramadan, it's like when we do our Lent in the Christian faith.
Thank you.
You're going through your fasting. You say, well, we're going to fast. And it's the same thing. Body get. Oh, you can jump back on it. I'm just. Okay, there you go.
But everybody got to be able to stay on the path with us. But it's the discipline that when you're going through it is one thing, but the continuing through it. And most of us continue to fall off because we start and we stop.
That's right.
I say we again, because always I start and I'll be doing well on things. And then I get not lackadaisical. I just get, I don't feel like dealing with it, period.
You go from Ramadan to Ramadan. What happened?
Right. You done 2 weeks after it. You done,
sexy to saucy.
right. From hot damn to hot damn. What happened to this brother? So we done went through so many phases, but it's like the discipline from 1 to 2.
Yeah.
And then 1 to 2 is cool, but you gotta get to 10.
Yeah.
You gotta get to 100.
Man.
And you've disciplined so much.
That's right.
So here's another version of it. So again, you all can stay with us. I like this. I'm gonna veer off and jump back on. I love our podcast because this is genuine conversation.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that both of us have this music and movie trivia that we say stuff out of nowhere. And if those who are listening know these movies and these,
they're like, why are they talking about the Terminator?
right? But someone who knows the Terminator, like, oh, I got the joke. I got the joke. So I feel it. But going back on point, staying with what we're doing. I was just talking about the thing of what have you done for me lately? It's something that, there you go. Come on, hit the Janet Jackson, baby.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes. See, okay. So what have you done for me lately becomes a thing of even with yourself.
Yeah.
You do all these things, but what have you done for yourself lately in your discipline?
Man, you better speak on it.
You are striving to be a better person.
Yeah.
But if you are placating to laziness too often, you can't do better. And you keep falling back off and you're wondering why as a business person.
Yeah.
Your business can't go well because, like we said the other day, you hit a lick and you want to go to the strip club.
Yeah.
You can't get better because you keep your nickname gonna be can't get right after a while.
Exactly.
Because you keep trying to do the shit. I want to go have. You can't ball out.
Yeah.
The discipline has to be there. You talked about the school and their trajectory of work. Okay, this is the trajectory. It's what do they call it? The not the scope, the schedule, the syllabus that they give you when you first go to college. I think that's what it's called, the syllabus. I can't remember. It's been a while. So they give you this 4-year regimen of what you need to do.
Yeah.
And you got a few choices to make some stuff put in and out of it. But the discipline of it is you have to do this in order to get your success. The discipline of your life changing and your life developing is that you see point A and you know point B.
Yeah.
You have to get to point B. But if your discipline is not there, that's why you keep losing and gaining weight. And then you gain back more than you lost.
You know what? It really boils down to a lot of times we're worried about relationships, but we're not worried about the relationship that we have with ourselves.
Oh.
That's where discipline comes in, because discipline is a blessing, because you get to say yes to what you really want and say no to what you don't want. The thing is, we say we want these things. Do you really want it? Because you have to say no. The body wants to experience. The body wants pleasure. The body wants food. The body wants to lay down. The body wants to see.
What did R. Kelly say? Your mind is calling me. Oh no, that's the other one. But the body's
calling me.
The body's calling me. That's what it is. R. Kelly.
And that's what I love about fasting. Because you tell your body what to do. You tell it, no, you cannot eat. No, it's time for something else. No, it's time for us to do this. The more things that you say no to, the better things you can say yes to. And when you have a focus and you have a discipline and you have a direction, you have a plan. You have to have a plan. And your plan is to say, look, your mama wants you to come here, but no. God want me to do this. Because he speaks to us all. He speaks to us on what we want to do. So you want to have a good relationship? Have a good relationship with God first. You treat God right, And next, you treat yourself right. A lot of us don't have a good relationship between ourselves. Look at how we talk to ourselves. Somebody compliments us, and then we all of a sudden, oh man, this ain't nothing. No, you are something. We have to speak to the person that God made us to be. And the thing, and I love the fact that you brought up discipline, because when we are disciples of the word, we become disciplined. Those who are out of order, they don't have an order. They do what their body tells them to do. And what happens is they're in disarray. You can't tell what's going to happen. Their lives reflect the chaos of the undisciplined. Mm. Just like if you were to just throw sand up in the air, it'll blow wherever it want to blow.
Money too.
But sand with discipline, you can build castles with it. You can have a beach with it. You can do a lot more. You can make creation with it. And when we're looking at relationships, the relationships that we have with the people that we're with, it reflects what's going on in the inside. Because a lot of us, we choose to be with people or be around people reflecting of who we are and where we are in life. You want to look at your friends, you're looking at a different aspect of yourself.
Oh.
You want to look at your job, you're looking at an aspect of what you considered. This is what worthy of you. You want to look at the car that you drive. You want to look at the neighborhood that you live in. See, this is why we're in a state of I am. It's not complete yet. So if you want to do something, just like working out, there is no I've done enough. No, this is for life. There is no, I've completed the end of my diet. No, this is the way that you live. This is the end of Ramadan. What was it? Ramadan. Here you go. Here you go. It is the holiday season. And you went from hey to hey. You know what I mean? And our bodies reflect what's going on. Our minds, our speech reflects what's going on in the mind.
So can I chop some seasoning back off this?
Here we go.
We're taught that you can judge or you can determine a man and where he's going by what he says, his actions, and who he hangs out with.
Yeah.
And most of us don't even think that's true. But look at what you're saying, look at your actions, and then look at the people you hang around.
Yeah.
And that determines where a man is going to be in the future. Oh, I'm going to be a scientist, I'm going to be a doctor. Well, your actions say you're lazy as a mother. Mm-hmm. The people you hang out with are hood rat, hood wealth. That's it. Mm-hmm. And then your words are never that of, I'm going to speak life into it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go to the library to study. Mm-hmm. Like I had a friend who, I remember it was high school, and I'm going to be a basketball player when I grow up. And I was, nigga, you're not going to be a basketball player. You don't. Hey, I'm going to be like LeBron. Everybody, I'm going to be like LeBron. Y'all don't know. Did y'all study the history of LeBron?
Yeah.
I don't watch basketball. Everybody know me. Yusuf is not really a sports person. I watch the highlights and the everything else. But LeBron slept with the basketball.
Yeah.
This man has had one girlfriend. Now, probably had some other ones in between. But one girlfriend through college, through high school. And everywhere, the man was disciplined and focused on the path of this is what I want with my life.
This is what I'm going to do.
This is what I'm going to do. Everything else is a distraction. I'm not going to plays or other stuff. I'm playing basketball.
Yeah.
Eat, sleep, live, breathe, do whatever I need to. It's going to be basketball. That was his actions. That was his words. That was his life.
That was his thoughts.
Look at him now.
Yeah.
20 years? 20 years, this man been doing this stuff. So what are you doing with your life that you're saying, I'm going to be? Like you keep talking about, we are in the I am. We live with the I am God. And I love, and I want to keep messing up how I'm saying this, but he was, as he was yesterday, he is today, and he shall be. I think that's how it goes. God is the I am of I ams.
Yeah.
I am what I am. Yes. Excuse me, Papa. I am what I am. But I am what I am yesterday, and I am will be that today, and I will be that tomorrow.
Yeah.
I do not change. I will be the same.
Yeah.
And if you're not working in that existence of time, what are you working
In the
on?
state of it, absolutely nothing.
Nothing at
how
all.
some. And I want to speak on something because you said something very important. Yeah, one woman. One thing about the relationships that we have to have, the relationships that you cultivate today, a successful man, it's the person that you choose to marry. It's the people that you choose. And see, it's very important for us to develop the relationships around us. And in order to do that, you have to develop yourself so that you understand. Some people, oh, well, I don't live around people who think like me. Move. I'm not, and it's just that simple. It's just that simple.
It's just that simple.
You're not caged. Even if you're in jail, you can figure out other people to hang around. And that's the truth. For those of you, well, I don't know what else to that's all I know. Go learn something different. Pick up a book. You don't even have to read. You can pull a podcast. You pull up on YouTube. You can subscribe to other people on TikTok and just go out there and experience for yourself. But that's that lazy spirit. If we're saying we can't, there's always a way that you can. There's always a way. And it doesn't matter the level that you will go to the level that you're meant. A lot of people, oh, well, I'm supposed to be on top. It don't matter what they're doing. It doesn't matter let me tell you something. People who are really at the top, they're not worried about anyone else. Your goal is not the top. The goal is to be the best you
that you can be.
And people say that all the time, but who are you? Who are you really? Have you discovered that person? Because you're going to be wherever you at. You can't run from you. And the thing is, as we develop these relationships, we always looking at, well, how can I do this? And how can I do? It's not about the strategies. It's not about all of that. The first person you have to have a relationship with is God and you. You have to know, what is it? You have to have a knowledge of self.
God is closer to you than your jugular veins.
Man, what you talking about, man? I'm telling you. You say that again.
He is closer to you than your jugular vein. And if you don't understand, that is the life vein, is what they say. If God is closer to you than that means he's between your life and your life. So
that's right.
That's him. That essence of life is controlled by the one that you were refusing to get that relationship with.
And you know what? You said something that was so important. As human beings, as divine beings of God, reflection made flesh, right? God made you divine. Love who you're created to be. He didn't make no mistakes. Not at all. If you're a black woman, love that. If you're an Asian man, love that. Because you're divinely created. There's never been another being like you, and there never will be. But if you conform to what the masses are doing, then first of all, you're not you. It's okay to find your tribe. It's okay to build relationships, but develop the person that God created. And the thing is, there's happiness there. We say, oh, okay, you have to be disciplined. You have to do what he wants. But guess what? It's what you want. If you understand what he wants, you'll understand that it's actually what you want as well.
It is.
A lot of us are just rebellious. A lot of us, we just contrarian. We're just doing the opposite just to do what's opposite. God. And the thing is, God is a gentleman. Go right ahead. Go right ahead. I said the bridge is out. You want to go on down there? See? Go right ahead. I'm going to be right here waiting on you. When you come back with thorns and thistles, scrapes and scratches. And you know, a lot of us have been in different partnerships. We shook hands and made a deal with somebody. We went to this organization. We went, and he told us not to go. But did we listen? Some of our fathers told us something. Our mothers told us something. You had that great friend. You had that great friend. And they looked out for you. And you know how you know they were for you? They ain't want nothing from you. They celebrated your wins. But nah, you saw you saw something else. God don't need to. Let me tell you something about a great friend. Brother Rasul,
That's man.
Let me tell you something. I prayed about something, right? And I said I was trying to decide whether I was going to go to the army, was going to stay in the army, or whether I was going to leave. And so I get on my knees, and I was like, Lord, I need direction. I need focus. I need more. Just show me a sign. And just, I would pray, and then, I would go back, and something terrible happened. They messed up contracts. They were screwing with my promotion. And then I went back and they messed with my money. Now, one thing is,
that's it right there.
You can do all that, but don't mess with my money. And I'm sitting up there frustrated, and my ETS date, which is my discharge date, is coming up, and I go back on my knees. And I'm like, Lord, just give me
a sign.
Rasul said, I don't know how many signs you need, but he been showing you the whole time. Every time you pray, something happened. And the thing is,
we ignore them signs.
That's
not what we want.
Sometimes we don't listen. Sometimes we want to get our head bumped, and then we'll blame it on the person that's closer to us. A lot of us go through things and we blame it on the relationship. Oh, well, he ain't doing nothing for me, and he ain't doing this, and he ain't doing that. Well, what are you doing? What exactly are you doing? What are you doing in your community? What are you doing in your relationship? You with this person, you chose them. You chose them. And guess what? Whether they get better or get worse, you're making the decision to stay or leave. You know you weren't supposed to be with that person. You going toward marriage. You know you weren't supposed to be that person. You trying to make a business that served the community. And here it is, they developing the next strip club. Y'all got a business next to an elementary school. What are you doing? You knew what you were supposed to be doing. Here you are going out with that same cousin. You said you wasn't going to smoke again. 420, your cousin pulled around the corner, and there you are.
I got these cheeseburgers.
I get high.
All right.
But you knew what I'm saying is, it's not what you say yes to, it's what you say no to. So you can discipline yourself, so you can cultivate those relationships. See, y'all thought we was going a whole different direction with these relationships. What we're talking about is the ultimate relationship. The ultimate relationship, because that's going to determine everything else. Everything else is secondary. Everything. So when you finally do get into those great friendships that you can call somebody, oh, that's my sister right there. She been down with me from day one. You can be a good sister. You can be a good brother. When you're looking in that relationship, man, like that, you want that 40-year marriage. You got to be the person who can be in a 40-year marriage.
Can I throw something different on that?
The stove open, man. Go ahead and pop that steak in.
You got the steak. I want some green beans on this one. So the green beans I'm going to throw on, actually, you know what? This is a steak. This is the ultimate steak I'm about to throw on here one. Is the best relationship is a female and God. It's no more powerful than probably a man of God, but it's no more powerful relationship than a female and that with God. She is the only thing that can create life.
Yeah, man.
Nothing else.
Yeah. Outside
of a female can be. A man cannot do it.
Nah.
We can give the seed, but we can't germinate it, develop it, and grow it. That is only female. That's why the earth is called woman.
That's right.
Mother Earth. The essence, when we talk about the spirit of discernment and we talk about listening to God, and this is just me, again, my personal opinion, I look at sisters, women, sisters, I call sisters, whatever.
Women.
I look at women's.
Women's.
I look at the women's, and when a woman is going through something and she wants some guidance, or she needs to change her life, or whatever something's going off in her life, she can sit down and talk with God and get the answer, damn it, in 10 seconds.
Man.
It will change life and say, God, I hear you.
Yep. You know what?
But when it comes to a dude, she won't do it.
But you know what? They're obedient because I'm going to say the way that if a woman body feels off, she going to the doctor.
That's it.
She finna go and see what's going on.
Right.
Let me tell you something. A woman, if she thinks it's something going on with the car, she finna go get it taken care of. With men's,
no, I mean, all right.
You know what I'm saying?
But you coughing up blood.
We might be mechanics, and you still not. You'll fix everybody else's car, but yourself.
That's it.
You change everybody oil every day, and my mechanics listening. You know it's true.
Yep.
You change oil for a living,
and you still ain't changed your own.
And guess who told you to do it? Your wife.
Mm-hmm.
You see, what they listen to is obedience. They're obedient. And the relationship that they got with God. Look, I heard this one pastor say something so funny. He was like, look, I talked to God and I was getting real mad. I was mad at her. She was telling me. And then I went and prayed about it. And I had to ask God, I'm like, why you always on her side? And he said, God told him, because she on my side. And that's
I get off the prayer rug. I'll get off the prayer rug. Wait, I'm gone. You know what?
And that's the thing that we have to make sure. Is your relationship right? And are you listening?
The relationship with God will determine the success of your life in the fact of, are you doing what he wants you to do? If you're aligned with him, again, I got it from reading Quran during Ramadan and all that other good stuff and get back on my spiritual tip. Booyah. The other week when I was talking about the 3 different visions in Joseph, it is ordinary man, a king, and a prophet. I kept saying a God. It's a prophet. And remember this, people. This is very key to the development and success of your life and being in tune with God. Because the ordinary man, his visions come to pass very quickly. Oh, I visioned myself having a car. Oh, you get a car 2 weeks from now or a couple of days. That's an ordinary man's vision. The visions of a king. I mean, we're referring to the story of Joseph with the seven corns and the 7 cows and all this stuff. Read Joseph, people. And the visions of a king is that it takes a minute. Those are the 7 and 7.
Yeah.
It's going to take a while, but it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And the visions of a prophet takes a lifetime.
Yeah.
But when you're in accordance with God, and it's hitting me as I'm getting ready for this festival this year. I pray everybody comes down for the Sweet Harbor Music Fest.
Oh, y'all going to have
September 30th, October 1st. I'm going to ball out in the city. It's going to be a lot of stuff going down. I'll tell you, keep going. But as we get closer to the event, I'm looking at a lot of things even in my life, but the visions of a prophet take a long time to happen.
That's right.
A lifetime. And if you are wary in your thoughts, if you're not trusting in the God, if you don't believe in that what she has for you is for you, you have a problem in your life.
That's right.
And you will be deterred and start doing everything and then you messed up. Mm-hmm. So the relationship with God is number 1, as you're saying.
That's right.
Then the relationship with self, because the self relationship is, I love me. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't drink and I don't smoke. That is a personal thing, but it is what it is. But those of you who do, everything has to be taken in moderation.
Yeah.
The moderation is, okay, you can drink, but don't drink yourself to death.
Yeah.
And if you're going to drink and every night and then you like to drink and get drunk, don't do it every night. You got a liver that needs to help you rest your body out. If you smoke,
need a liver.
You need the liver. You're going to do the weed. All right, cool. But, everything has to be done in moderation. Too often we're going to overindulge in doing everything. And then you have to question yourself of, do you love yourself at that point?
Wow.
Even with being overweight.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sexy. Okay, somebody called you sexy. But are you really sexy? Because can you see your toes? Can you touch your knees? Do you hang low, wobble to and fro as a man?
That's right.
So all these things, are you really loving yourself?
Yeah.
And if you're not loving yourself, how is this working for you? So the love of self, after the love of God, then the love of self. I don't know what's after that.
I'll tell you.
Go ahead.
Then you can love others.
Okay, yeah.
Then you can have great relationships outside of yourself. The thing is, before yourself, within yourself, and then outside of yourself. And that's all it is. It's spirit, mind, body.
Mind, body, and soul. Come on.
And you know, what you want to do, the better that you can treat yourself is the better that you can treat others. Because first of all, you'll know to be around others. You'll know what deserves your attention. You'll know how to cultivate things. You'll know how to, and the thing is, you're on discovery. Even if you don't have all the answers, you're on the path. And that's the blessing, to be on the path. It's a blessing to be able to know that it's not you that's wrong, it's the outside. And no matter what happens on the outside, when you have a solid foundation, when you have a solid spirit, when you have a solid mind, you can cultivate everything else. You can handle everything else. You can handle the other things. But the first thing is you got to check yourself.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Chickity, check yourself.
Big D's in your mouth is bad for your health. Sorry.
No, but it's a blessing to be able to talk about that. Because in today's climate, everyone wants to talk about everybody else. But we have to be accountable to ourselves because we're accountable to God. We obey everything else. You do what your boss say. You do what everyone else tell you to do when it's concerning your money, but this is concerning your soul. This is concerning your life. You get to determine that. When you said that you was going to get up and exercise and you told yourself, how can you disrespect yourself? How can you disrespect your God? The answer is don't. How about that?
I ain't gonna do nothing. It gonna put me in jeopardy with that man. I learned that a long time ago.
I'm telling you.
But I still keep messing up. God, if you get me out of this one, I swear for the Lord, I won't do it again. Man.
Look, I want to thank each and every one of you for listening to the podcast. We enjoy to see that you guys are enjoying our content.
Yes.
We didn't even introduce ourselves.
Oh, my fault.
Look, this is your boy Tim Hargrove, known as Dark Shining Light.
This is your brother Yusuf Muhammad, Yams Creation on social networks.
Man, he got sexy. He dropped this voice down the bottom right here.
I am
He
what
put
I
that
am.
berry on it.
Yes, I am.
I got that tenor.
I got that berry Manilow, that berry white mixed in with it, real smooth, elegant.
He got real low on that.
Yes.
One.
So this is
quiet storm.
my actual voice a little bit. I talk excitedly. My father says passionately. I look forward to having him on here very soon because
gonna be awesome.
I'm gonna get him, then I'm gonna get my brother. And you're gonna laugh because all of our voices sound the same. I mean, you have to be like, okay, that's Yusuf talking, that's Steven talking right now. That's the other Steven. So we're gonna have fun with that one. But all that to say, I like this beat. It's real smooth.
Oh,
man.
that's what you meant by you like the beat?
It's the beat, 'cause, like, you know, it made me drop. Yes, this is I'm talking. Hey, let's break this down. Thank y'all for listening, man. Another episode of Cocktails and Conversation. Listen, share, like, follow,
Subscribe.
That's the thing. Yep, subscribe on this joint. We got some nice content we're working on for the future. Videos. We're gonna get to them so you can see what Tim.
Thanks for taking a sip with us today.
Oh yeah.
Reflect on it.
Thank y'all.
This is Tim Hargrove, known as Nuba. Tune in for Cocktails and Conversations Friday, 7 p.m. on all streaming platforms. Subscribe, like, and tell somebody.